Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am the three-time, Naboxed Award-winning Naboxed, and I am continuing on with one more mainline episode, at least, of the Tourism Challenge. So I'm not quite sure if I'll have another one, but after this, but this is going to be the last one you see this month. If I do another one, then it'll be a bonus episode. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We have to do this one first. So I'm going to start at the Pomo Museum, Museum of Port Moody. And I'm going to see what questions and or challenges they have here. So let's get to it. That's a pretty big chainsaw. Why would I want to touch it? So the Pomo Museum is in the books, and I am up to 86 stamps. So the last little, today's gonna be a little bit more spread out. So I know there's a Mackin House over in Coquitlam, so I'm considering going there. And I know there's a couple of New West attractions that I haven't hit yet, so I'm going to see what I can do about those. So I'm at Mackin House, and you know, I like when they keep it like when they do something fresh. You get a sheet here, you actually have to come around and find each item. So, well, I have to find 7 of the items that are on this sheet, and that's where that'll be my stamp. So I got to take pictures. That's just the easiest way for me to take pictures. So talk to you soon. And there we have it, folks. I hit Mackin House Museum, and you basically go in and they give you that sheet I showed you. It has different pictures, and you locate it's like an I Spy game. So yeah, actually, you know, it's interesting that they do something other than questions, like an I Spy, or like they did at the Police Museum and Archives, where you locate an officer and his dog. And so yeah, just it breaks up the tedium, so that's always nice whenever they're willing to do something else. So that's 2 stamps done today, and it's off to the next one. I have made it to New West, and I'm going to the Fraser River Discovery Center. That will be my next stamp. And while I'm there, the video I did with the autistic chef David Leahy, we talked about the tin soldier, or the toy soldier, that's 9.75 meters tall. And you can Google that, so it's kind of hard to like not find it out. But I'll take the time to show you guys right now. Another 10 inches, he'd be 10 meters tall. Because, you know, it's 25 centimeters until he gets to 10 meters, so just like a hair under 10 inches would get him to, take him there. But no, they only went for 9.75. So I finished the Fraser River Discovery Center, and I also went into Irving House. One of the girls there told me that they don't like filming in there, so unfortunately I don't get to use that shot. So Nevertheless, I now have 89 stamps. So, what time is it now? It's 2:46. So, I'm gonna see if I can see what I can do for any more attractions, and if I can't get to an attraction, then I'll continue filming tomorrow. So, got to Burnaby. I got to Burnaby in time for the Nikkei Center. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. So, they don't like filming inside either. So, obviously, I couldn't do anything in there. But, 3 questions. 1 main floor, 1 second floor. I did get that wrong, but there's only 1 or 2 answers. So, like, okay, if it's, then I would just go back up and get the other one. And there's a book where they have, like, their various programs in. They ask you which one is, like, most interesting to you that would, like, make you consider coming. So that's when you're gonna get right. It's like that's one of those there's no wrong answer ones. So there we go. There was a reception going on, actually. And obviously there was so when it comes to things like weddings and receptions, they're obviously going to give special permission to, like, those clients to do video or whatever. So I actually noticed the guy who was doing that. And believe it or not, he was using the same model of camera that I'm using, the R8, the Canon R8. So I gave him my card, and who knows, maybe it'll be there can be a future collaboration going on. So I think it's almost 4 now, so I'm not sure what's left that I can do today. Yeah, it's 4:09, so like almost 9:15. So I'm gonna plot my course and see what I can do. So, since we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, I figured that this would be just as good a time as any to knock out a couple of hotels. I just hit the Hilton at Metrotown. That brings me up to 91 stamps. I did not remember to let you know that Nikkei Center brought me up to 90. So, I know there's like 1 more stamp I can get about a block or 2 from here. So I'm gonna make it 92 before I finish today. So I've made it out to Fort Langley. This is my second 2-day filming expedition, because yesterday was when I did the real hodgepodge. It was like, okay, New West, Burnaby, Port Moody, Coquitlam. So yeah, this is like, because this is gonna be my last stand, basically, because I'm not gonna have time to do any more episodes after this. So for me, it's been 5 weeks of doing this, but for you guys, it's been spread out over 6. So anyway, I've made it out to Fort Langley, and there's a couple museums here. Well, one museum is the BC Farm Museum, and there's a National Historic Site. So I'm going to first hit up the farm, because that one looks like it's the smaller one of the 2. So hopefully I can get some footage in there, and if I can, then I'll see you guys inside. So this particular one, they're going to ask me a question at the end, so I have to walk around, and it's a surprise question, and I'm kind of obviously going to be nervous about it, because it's like, okay, what do I do? So anyway, nevertheless, obviously I want to do it. I want to be as honest as I can when I do this. So you see me walking around here, and actually, so this is the farm museum. So I see The improved Minnesota Chief, which actually already looks caught my eye. So to me, just like the aesthetic of it, just looks kind of interesting. So let's see. You know, like obviously there's going to be like a lot of stuff that you would expect here, like Victoria carriages. There's antique firearms. So if you're in that. So there's a sign that says there's more to agriculture than farming. So, yeah, I guess that actually they're doing a decent job of showing that off. You know, like they have the guns, they have the carriages. So, yeah, it's you know what? I'm gonna say this now. This one is deceptively interesting. Like in terms of like just like museums, this one is probably better than you would expect it to be. So, if I were to do a review, this would be like a surprise one. Okay, there was as you see, there's a two-headed cow. So if that was real, and it's born, then I guess that would be very moose-worthy. You know, because it's two heads, therefore two moves. Twice the moves than usual. Boo. You have to give me the boos to go with the moos. There is a second building, and it's more machine-oriented. Think of the engine room like at the Canadian Museum of Flight, but a lot bigger, obviously. And this is probably more of what I expected. Like there's obviously tractors and like machinery. There's looks like they have more like goes by season. Like I see there's like summer and haying machinery over there. And I'm standing right beside the fall/harvest machinery, so let's see. So some John Deere machinery, and there's a picture of a deer on it, obviously, because they like to do that sort of thing. You know, some big wheels here. Going to get a close-up of like the detailing. Like obviously this stuff goes plowed through a lot of dirt, so it needs to have a lot of traction in there. So like that's why you have like all those big grooves. So I did a lot of stairs yesterday. I know that there's there's like some stair stuff going up some stairs here. But I kind of feel like taking a break from the stairs today. So, yeah, the mezzanine display. So yeah, gonna see if there's anything else interesting that I can find. That's the third anvil I've seen. The first was at Pitt Meadows. The first two were Pitt Meadows and Burnaby Village Museum. And this is the third one. At least I distinctly remember. So yeah, seems to be like a lot of forges and blacksmiths. Okay, is this 2026 or 1526? Or is it Skyrim? I didn't notice this on the way here because it's partially blocked by the sign, but the girl at the front was telling me that out front is the world's largest anvil. So I'm going to show you the sign blocking it, and then I'll show you the anvil. So there you go. The world's biggest anvil. And the sign that's blocking it. So anyway, so that's the Farm Museum, the BC Farm Museum. And like I said, that one was actually, I liked it more than I thought I would. So like there's like the paintings, there's a two-headed cow, the antique gun collection, there's the other room where it was more in line with what I expected with like the tractors and all that stuff. So that said, I'm going to hit up the National Historic Site that's like a block from here. So that might actually be the last attraction I cover. So I'm here at the Fort Langley National Historic Site of Canada, and I'm looking around. The layout is actually along the same vein as Burnaby Village Museum. There's like different houses that different like structures you can walk into and take a look around. Now, the question is very general, so I'm gonna I know I could. There's only like. You're not going to see this until there's like a day left anyway, but I'm still I'm going to not say what the question is just on the principle of the matter. I know it probably doesn't matter. Probably wouldn't matter a whole lot, but because of how far out of the way it is and all that, but still, it's just like, it's the principle of the matter. You know, you want to do it as faithfully as you can. But yeah, actually, I do like Burnaby Village Museum, so this actually, having that sort of layout and vibe does go with it, even though it's not a village one, but not a village thing, but still, let's take a look around. That looks like one of those butter churning things. Yeah, it's this might take a turn for the worst. There's this is actually an old Hudson's Bay outpost. So for those who don't know, that's actually a company that started here the 1600s, well before Canada was actually established. So the building I'm in now, that has a lot of barrels, and Hudson's Bay was originally a fur trading company, but when they came here, they actually found that they were making more money off of salmon here, so they actually started a fishery here. So that's why they have this room with barrels, and of course that's how they I guess that's how they transported the salmon, was in barrels. So yeah, so let's go on.
But out west here, all of our metal was imported at pretty significant cost from England. There was no railroad across Canada, not even across Panama by that point. So all the boats went across the Atlantic and down below South America, and then up the coast, a 6-month journey, 4 to 6 months, depending on currents and winds. But it was worth it for the blacksmith, because from England we would get large rods of iron, probably closer to 12 to 14 inches in length, but this is a good indicator of about the size or the thickness. And a proper blacksmith would take this, heat it up, and turn it into the items you see around here. What we were making depended on our partners and our needs. So we did have a farm, so shovels, pitchforks, farm equipment, anything that they needed or needed repaired, our blacksmith would take care of. Kind of the janitor of the fort, of the operation. Eventually, gold would be discovered in the Fraser, which would lead to a gold rush and lead to us becoming a colony. So we needed to prepare. So blacksmiths would create things like pickaxe heads, shovels. But for the majority of our blacksmith work, it was focused on our local trade partners, the local First Nations. What they wanted would always change based off what their needs were at the time. But overwhelmingly from the blacksmith, they wanted axes. So we were using iron, and an axe was a great use of the limited steel. Of all the axes that we sold, and we sold a variety, it was the Fort Vancouver axe, which you see here, that was most commonly requested.
So I'm sitting down at the, they have one of those, like a lot of those places will have, say, a place where you can get drinks or whatever. I'm having a blackberry sage tea. Not tea, lemonade. Sorry, excuse me. Blackberry sage lemonade.
Thank you so much. Thanks, you too. Sorry.
Okay, I feel like you can notice the sage a little bit more than the blackberry. It is a nice lemonade, but it wouldn't be my first. Now that I tried it, it probably wouldn't be my first choice. But it's not something that I would turn down if it was offered to me. Now that said, so there was the Farm Museum. This is the National Historic, Fort Langley National Historic Site. I think there's one or two other museums out here. It's a smaller community. It's just a little out of the way around Langley. But if you're a tourist and you're watching this and you can make it out here, don't sleep on this place. It is actually one of those nice looking. It almost has one of those Hallmark Christmas movie vibes, but just but the summer version of it. If there was a summer version, this would be a good place to come visit. So do not sleep on Fort Langley. If you can make it out here, I definitely recommend coming here. So the lemonade actually did get better as I continued on. It got sweeter, and I obviously do enjoy the sweet stuff, but you really notice the sage first, and then as you get along, that's when the blackberries start to really come out in the flavor. So yeah, I would buy it again. It's just it took a little while for the flavoring to really come out the way that I wanted it to, but yeah, good lemonade, and gonna see if I can find one or two more things before I log off. So if you remembered my trip to the Britannia Mine Museum a few years ago, then you'll remember that they had a gold panning station, and they actually have one here in the Fort Langley Museum. But I don't think they put any little bits of fake gold, so you don't get to take any souvenirs that way. So if you come to, here in the barrel one, the barrel house, they actually have instructions on how to make barrels. So you can do a make your own barrel sort of thing. So finishing off my day at the Trading Post Eatery, it's really close to the bus stop actually, so that is a pleasant surprise. And they have sweet heat fries. It's sort of she described it all dressed fries. If you had the chips all dressed, kind of like that but without the vinegar.
So we'll be placed pretty high for provincial, but we're top 5 team out of 30-16. Yeah.
Nice and crispy. And I do like the flavoring. So I also got the bacon cheeseburger. So I'm going to put the camera down, give it a try, and I'll let you know what I think. So I just had the bacon cheeseburger, the Canadiana as they call it. Wonderful, wonderful bacon cheeseburger. As you saw, I tried the sweet heat fries. And yeah, I actually did decent. I enjoyed them, nice and crispy, nicely seasoned. And I'm gonna try the dessert. So I'll let you know how that is. Okay, so I'm done now. I'm done at the Trading Post Eatery. The cake was okay. It was like maybe a little bit denser than I would have liked. I tend to prefer my cakes be like a little fluffier like that, but the flavoring was nice. Good compote, good strawberry compote, vanilla bean ice cream. So otherwise, pretty standard fare. But I'm telling you that the bacon cheeseburger was excellent. I really enjoyed that bacon cheeseburger, and the fries were nicely seasoned. So anyway, I think that's going to wrap up the tourism challenge for me this year. I've really enjoyed doing it this year. 96 stamps. Easily my best year, triple what I did last year, and last year was my best at that point. So I'm going to go ahead and think that I'm going to get my privilege pass because, well, like the privilege passes are like one of the guaranteed bits when you reach that 25 mark. So I hope you've enjoyed the journey the past few weeks. And if you saw something you like, please let me know, and maybe I can do a deeper dive into that one. Fort Langley is just like, if you have a chance, I highly recommend coming out here, especially if you're a tourist. It almost feels like one of those Hallmark Christmas movie places, but just like summer, like it goes with the seasons, right? So thank you for joining me the past 6 weeks. I still have the neighborhood stuff, the Maple Ridge neighborhood stamps, and the downtown Vancouver stamps, neighborhood stamps, because those ones were particularly spoilery, so I saved them for the first week of June. And I don't think there's really anything left to say. Until next time until the next time I have an idea for filming, I'll see you then. Bye, everyone.